Hey folks, welcome to the Gritty Podcast. I am your host, Brian Call, and I'm joined by my brother, the Gritty Broman, behind the camera. How are you, Brent?
I'm well, thank you.
Right on. So today's podcast are with our buddies over at Canvas Cutter, and if you ever thought about getting a Canvas Cutter bedroll, you should, because it's one of those products that you're like, dang, where has this been my whole life? It's just so functional and useful. One thing that I think is interesting about this product is people look at it and they go, whoa, that's expensive, because it is. But one thing you don't realize is how much goes into making that kind of product, using the materials that they use, from the mattresses to the zippers to the type of canvas that they use in the waterproofing and the poles, like the whole thing. It's a really cool design, and it is. I wouldn't recommend it if it wasn't worth it. And it truly is. It's like I said, it's one of those things that you're like, why didn't I have that?
It's canvas. You buy this thing one time.
Yeah, it does last forever. You know, it's one of those things. Lampers has one in the back of his truck. I have one in the back of mine all the time, and all my buddies have them at this point. And they are the perfect run and gun. Throw it out, get some sleep. If you're anti-hotel like I am, you'd rather sleep in the back of your truck. I'm too cheap for hotels. It's money. But it's just nice all the way around. So this podcast is with them. It's not just about the products, though. We go into them a little bit and we talk about them, but it's kind of an entrepreneur style podcast where we talk about entrepreneurship and how they got started and how do they stay relevant, because it seems like a product that anybody can copy, right? Like bedrolls have been around since beginning of time,
forever, thousands of years.
Especially canvas ones. You got all the West out west, you know, throwing canvas bedrolls up on saddles, riding around on horseback. And so but they talk about that on the show, and they talk about striking out and starting a business. And so if you're into any kind of business and starting, it's an interesting conversation. We had Ben Dedimonte, Shed Crazy, is on the show, Seth Larsen, and John Tanner. And Seth and John are brother-in-laws. They're brother-in-laws both ways, since Seth married John's sister and John married Seth's sister.
Yeah, popping out some brother cousins.
Weird. Yeah. Anyway, fun show. I think you're going to like it. And again, great guys, great product. But it's not just about the product. We go into some stuff around just, you know, getting into the hunting space and starting a business and keeping it going. We talk about entrepreneur.
And like, that's kind of the reason why they came out with the duffel. Like, they're making these sweet, awesome bedrolls. And like, well, what else can we make that's awesome with canvas?
Right. I see a lot of people doing that across the board, and building your own product the way you want it is a cool thing to do. We're involved with that on a number of companies where we're like, yeah, we'll work with you, but will you work with us? If we don't like how this tent is sewn, will you change it? If we want a door here, will you put one in? If we want the stove to be altered, will you do that? If we want a headlamp that does XYZ, can you make that happen?
I need a blue one.
Yeah, like it's been fun to work with companies that are like, we value all the paces you're putting our gear through and testing it. And, you know, like gaiters for one, we had quite a bit of involvement in creating that gaiter for Peaks, and we've run it through the paces. We found issues and we fixed those issues, and we continue to test and retest and tweak things as only you can learn through extensive use in the conditions you're going to use them in. And so I really appreciate that we have companies on board like that. So check out Canvas Cutter. I hope you enjoy this podcast. In fact, this Sunday, we are dropping a film on Sunday of our Arizona archery deer hunt. And it's I hope you like it. It's a cool show. It's different because it's a self-filmed archery hunt. I think you're going to enjoy it. I hope you do. But if you watch it and you leave a comment in the description field, like always, and you like it, we are going to give away a Canvas Cutter for one lucky person. We're going to randomly draw someone who leaves a comment. So check out the film on Sunday, leave a comment, and you're entered to win one of these bedrolls. So check that out. I think you're going to, it's pretty cool. Also, check out Peaks. They're a major partner of ours. They're awesome. Use the code GRITTY, get yourself poles and gaiters over there. And check out Mountain Ops and get yourself some supplements over here. Pink Lemonade Ignite, that's a money. That's money. They also have the new bars that are great too. And check out Goat Knives, our buddy over at Goat Knives, Travis Nowotny. He's putting out some killer knives. And if you like that Benchmade Altitude with the neck sheath.
The one looks like you're going to stab yourself in the neck with every time.
Yeah, that one. And I love that knife, but I actually like the Goat knife a little better.
And it's a little cheaper.
And it's less expensive. And
if you use the code GRITTY, it's even less expensive.
Yeah. Use the code GRITTY GOAT, in fact.
GRITTY GOAT.
Now, we used that knife all season, hammered it, and he has a replaceable blade one, which is also really great.
The Kepler Hunter TI.
Yeah, but the one that goes in the sheath, it's got the nitro steel. My concern was, will it hold an edge like my Altitude, which has like SV90 steel or 90 SV, I can't remember, but you're talking about some hard steel. We were very impressed with the steel used in the Goat knives. You get them sharpened, and that edge lasts a long time, and it's much less expensive option to the Benchmade Altitude. And we love the Benchmade. I love the Benchmade Altitude as well. It's a lot more money.
It's called the Tur.
The handle isn't the Altitude isn't as robust. It's not as heavy duty. It's not as and it's a touch lighter, but almost just not quite heavy duty enough. Like, I'm always afraid I'm going to bust the tip off, or and the handle, when you get blood on your hand, is a little harder to hold on to. The handle on the Goat is better.
The Tur.
The
TUR.
So check that out.
It's got a couple different handles, but it also has the same thing that the replaceable blade has with the wrenches. It also has a socket for you to put your wrench in and tweak stuff.
Yeah, check it out. Go to Goat Knives and check it all out. Thanks for watching, and stay gritty. Welcome to the Gritty Podcast. I am your host, Brian Call, and I am joined by some fellas from Canvas Cutter, some good friends of mine.
Yeah.
We're going around the table here. We got Ben Dedimonte.
Yep.
How do you say it? Is it Dedimonte?
Yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah,
Dang.
that was perfect.
5th time I've been on the podcast. Finally got my name right.
Yeah. Shed, also known as Shed Crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
We've got Seth Larsen here. Back.
Also known as Seth Larsen.
Also known as, yep, you're just plain old Seth. And then we've got John Tanner, who is your brother-in-law,
That's correct.
married to your sister,
Yeah.
who's much better looking than you.
Yes.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. We established a lot before we turned on the recorder.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see a picture so I can verify for myself.
If she's better looking.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, Seth's married to my sister.
Yeah. Do you want to see
What?
if she's better looking?
Are you-
John?
The lines crossed.
You're not making this up?
No.
No.
That's a little creepy, don't you think?
How
Ben?
is that
I don't
creepy?
know.
If you saw,
I'm used to it.
if
I've been
you and
around
your
them.
brother saw two attractive twins and you married them, that's not creepy. You're not related.
But what if you and your sister saw
But
two
if you and your sister,
It's just a little bit strange, but
It's
It's a
abnormal,
little
but
bit
it's
weird. Most
it's
people
fine.
think it's weird.
It's legal.
yeah, it's legal.
not only legal, it's
Like
very
they're both
normal.
trying to find the hottest
actually.
picture of their wife right now.
No, I've got
I
a
got it.
screenshot, but I mean,
So yeah, I'd like to
My
see.
wife's
so-
Instagram.
so that's your sister, Seth.
that's my sister. Yes.
You got what was is this like a Danny DeVito situation when twins?
Yeah.
What
Like-
are you talking about?
Your sister's better looking than you.
She's
Well, she better be. My gosh.
I'm
of course she's
objective third
better
party
looking.
to this. I think
Yeah.
that both of your wives are very pretty. Now
Thank
that
you,
we
Ben.
started this
Thanks,
podcast
Ben.
off
Appreciate
as
it.
awkwardly as possible.
Yeah, I'd like to see John's wife now.
John's wife. You already saw
That
John's,
was John's wife.
I mean,
That was John's wife. My
John's sister.
We both married up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
You've met Emily.
she's
though.
very pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys, you're blessed men.
It's more understandable
well.
now.
Yeah,
It's more
yeah.
understandable.
It's more forgiving, I guess. I can see why though, because you guys are like just stand
wait.
up, great guys.
We're just superb gentlemen.
You guys have sweet spirits.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm glad
Oh,
you know
gosh.
this.
Women care a lot less about looks than men. I've noticed that. Like
Yeah.
a real pretty girl, she'll marry down for like the right personality traits.
Yeah.
We're
But
the
most
right
guys
money.
are like, nah, they're not doing it. You know.
Yeah. All the money in the world.
Years ago, I did a podcast with my friend Sean DeGray, who runs the Total Archery Challenge. And I asked him that question. I was like, Sean, it seems like your wife cares a lot about looking good for you and being in shape and all that, but you don't seem to return the favor. And he said, I go, does it bother you? And he goes, I wondered if it bothered But yeah, I asked Sean. He said, "Yeah, I asked her one day. Honey, like, look at my belly, and I'm not in the best shape. And what do you, And he said she turned to him and said, "Sean, I'm just not as shallow as you." And I think that kind of explains it for all our wives, probably, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
They're just
poor
not as
wife.
shallow as
Thank
us.
goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She really married down, but I'm grateful that she did. Very
Yeah.
grateful.
How did you convince her?
Dude, I don't know.
Is
I
it your
dated
wealth?
her throughout high school.
Was it your wealth?
I
Still
had long
baffled.
hair in high school.
Yeah.
Did you?
Long, beautiful hair. I was in really good shape. I promised lots of money.
You look
Did a lot of baking.
Middle Eastern to me,
Yeah, when I
like
was
Israeli
in
or
Africa,
something.
When I
Just
lived
out
in
of left
Africa,
field.
everybody was like, "Are you a Jew?"
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I know I have a big nose. I've got brown eyes, dark
Yeah.
hair. Like
thick
I get it.
beard,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
could definitely
The
be in
thick
church
eyebrows, like they're dark.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Just
grateful
saying.
for good eyebrows.
And then you got the ginger over here.
Well,
What exactly?
I'm a
It's
ginger.
the ginger?
Yeah, I
What's-
got the red beard, but that's it.
Yeah.
It's like a calico cat,
It's got
Got a
that
few
long
different
brown
colors
mullet.
going on.
So we're going to talk about canvas cutter today. For those that don't know, it's a bedroll, which I originally was extremely skeptical of, and I thought no one will use this. Why would someone use this when they could use something else?
Right.
Just being honest, fellas.
Sure.
Then and we met through Chad,
Yeah.
my roommate Chad from college.
Yep.
One of my closest friends, and he said, "You got to meet these guys. You got to talk to them." And so we ended up meeting, you and I, Seth, and your father, and you guys were super cool. We talked about the canvas cutter, and it was an early podcast. I don't know,
Yeah.
a couple years ago or
Yeah, it was a few.
3 years ago, maybe.
It was our first year, so it had been 3 years, at least 3 years ago. Yeah.
And I remember we sat down, we went through it, and I was saying, well, I could see this being useful, like the concept and everything. But why? And I grilled you pretty hard, actually. Like, why would I buy this though? Like, there's a lot of other options out there, and this is sort of like almost like going back in time in technology instead of forward in time.
Which actually, a lot of really good products and perennial things actually go back in time,
Right.
not forward.
Like they stayed around because they worked.
There's a reason. Yeah, there's a reason why bedrolls have been around for literally thousands of years, and it's because they work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which kind of surprised me because you have all these newfangled sort of bivy sacks and all of that kind of stuff. And you're thinking, hey man, this is the future. And then I get my hands on the canvas cutter and I'm like, nah, this is better.
9 pounds?
Yeah, this is better. So I liken it to what would you rather post up in a tiny little pop-up tent, or would you rather roll into a gigantic, like, comfortable wall tent, right? Like, if you had your choice and you were in camp, you park your truck and you get out, what would you like to walk inside of?
I'm in the
Wall tent.
The wall tent, right? Like, there's just a comfort of, there's just something about it versus, just a MSR hubba, like it's different. It's like that, but in bedrolls. Why would I post up in a bivy sack when I could post up in a canvas cutter?
Yeah. I remember when you were grilling us about like, why would I get this? And I kind of understood, but since 2000, my dad was sewing them. So most my high school life, like I always went camping, always went hunting with a bedroll, and I couldn't fathom like, why wouldn't you want one? Like, I don't.
Right.
But I tried to do the best to answer your questions, your queries, but.
And I remember then putting it to use on a bunch of hunts and going, where's this been all my life? It's just such an essential, useful piece of kit.
Yeah.
And Lampers and I both, like I gave Lampers one of mine early on. I'm like, he used it and he was in love I'm kind. So I gave it to him. I said, here, you can have this, knowing I could probably get another free one if I asked. So Lampers got it, and it's funny, we just got back from Arizona, spent couple weeks there hunting mule deer, coos deer, javelina, jackrabbits, coyotes, you name it. And Ryan's rolling around in his hoopty Dodge Cummins pickup with the grandpa canopy.
The grandpa shell.
That's the shell that's that's pretty tall.
He's got the shell that's not a normal shell. He's got the
swooped up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's totally a grandpa.
Yep. And he sets up, he cruises, his motorcycle is on a little tailgate, or a hitch rather, hitch attacher. He's got that, and he can drive around in that junky truck, and he just camps right out of the back, and he's mobile, and he's got that canvas cutter bedroll rolled out in the back. But we'll throw it out on the ground too. You can roll up in a car and just pull it out of your trunk and throw it on the ground.
Yep.
And it's just as, it's actually sometimes more comfortable just to stick it on the ground right outside the truck. We've used
Unless you're in Lava Rock in Arizona.
But even then.
It's not bad. Like, I survived, but dude, this year in AZ in December, we roll up in the dark, and it's like Lava Rock Central, like no dirt.
Yeah.
Well, 100 yards away, but we didn't see it. But Ben's posting up in the back of his truck, and I'm just in a fortress on Lava Rock.
Good night, buddy.
Good night. Enjoy it.
Well, I found what's nice about it is it's quick and effective. Mm-hmm. So, we'll go in for a 10-day hunt. We'll kill an animal or something, or maybe we go in for 5 days, 7 days, whatever it is, and we get something, but we don't both tag out. And you got to hike all the way back to your truck, but you want to leave a lot of your gear where you're at because you're coming back. What's nice, we ferry our meat out without any tent, anything we need to have. We have our bedrolls back at the trailhead in our truck. We get there, we can throw the meat in coolers and all that. We don't have to set up a camp. We didn't have to set up a camp before we left, which could get robbed because it's at a trailhead. We just pull up the canvas cutters, roll them out on the ground, crash, get up in the morning, roll them up, stuff them back in, and take off. And I like the fact that I can, if we don't want to set up a camp, we can drive around until dark, just roll out, sleep, roll it back up, and go. Lately, I've been bringing my utility trailer everywhere I go, my cargo trailer, and camping out of that. I got the little buddy heater in there, and then I've got those what do you call them?
Disco beds.
Disco beds from Cabela's, where they're cots, and you get the wide ones, don't get the narrow ones, because the wide ones fit the canvas cutter perfect.
Yeah.
And the narrow ones, they kind of roll you up like this, and then the canvas cutter mattress comes up too, and it's not quite as comfortable.
And if you're using a cot, FYI, with the bedroll, and you want to use the pole system as well, the wider is the better.
Yeah.
Because the narrower cots will want to push the poles out of the pole pads.
Yeah, you'll be popping poles a lot.
Well, I use it on those wide ones, and they're nice. And my cargo trailer wasn't quite wide enough to fit the disco cots. So I took the middle sections, and I just cut the 3 inches off. And now it's flush, going lengthwise across the back. And I have them stacked, and I'm going to put a third one up. So it's 3 bunks across the back. Wow. Leaves the whole cargo trailer wide open for whatever else I want. And you can sleep 3 guys in there with canvas cutters. That's been really nice. And sleeping on a canvas cutter on a cot is really, really nice. It's next level nice.
Arguably, that's the worst part about camping is sleeping. So if you can make it comfortable.
Yeah.
And you could just get a mattress and throw it on the cots. But there's something nice about having the canvas zip shut and you being able to be inside. Even though you're inside, I'm inside an enclosed trailer. The other issue I run into is when I pack up to drive down the road, because I'm like, oh, let's go over here, and I'm towing the trailer. I take my pickles and my sandwich fixins and all my crap that's laying around and my extra broadheads. I unzip the canvas cutter and I shove it all inside there, and then I zip it shut. And then I jump inside my truck and I drive down the road, and nothing falls off of a table or it's all inside the canvas cutter. Then I unzip it and set it all back up on the tables and stuff.
Good idea.
And hopefully you don't have pickle juice, all over your bag. But
I get real quality pickles, so that's not a real issue. But no, it's been one of those pieces of gear that I really think is underestimated, how useful it is.
Yeah.
And until I started using it, and we used it years ago in that Colorado hunt I went on. We had 5 cots out on the ground, and we had the boys. We were hunting with the young boys, and we just all climbed into the canvas cutters in those cots. And I was skeptical of the rain and the snow. Like, how would the cots perform? Would they leak? Or not the cots, but the canvas cutter? Dude, they were so warm. It was so nice being inside there, and they got covered in snow, like, I don't know, 6 inches that night. And you just kicked off the snow, and it was great.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's the low pressure or what, but when it snows and you sleep in a canvas cutter, there is nothing better, in my opinion. It is so cozy. It's like this cocoon of comfort, and
you can shake it off pretty good.
Yeah, you just kick it off
get back into
and
it.
get out. But.
So something that happened early on, which really sold me on canvas cutter, was, we had done a podcast maybe a few months earlier, and I had said, okay, I'll test it. I was a little skeptical. And then I started to use it, and I was like, hey, I like this. And I was telling my audience, you should check this out. And we've never had any kind of like agreement or anything. Nope. We've just been friends for a long time. So I'm sitting there and I'm using this thing. Well, one day in the mail, I get a package, and it's 2 canvas cutter. Like, you gave me 2, right? So I had those 2. In the mail, I get 2 new canvas cutters minus the mattress. So it's just the shell. And then there's a little note in there that says, hey, we might have screwed up. We don't know. But some of our canvas cutters that we shipped out, they didn't have the waterproof coating. We didn't know. We had a manufacturer. We did all this stuff. It was a mistake. We aren't sure who ended up with a waterproof version and who didn't. So we're basically just sending, we don't want to inconvenience anyone. Here's your new canvas cutter exterior. Use it. You can check your old one and see if it is waterproof just by spraying some water on it. And if so, congratulations, you have 2 new covers. Thank you for supporting Canvas Cutter. And I reached out and I'm like, dude, how many of those did you have to send out? And it was quite a few.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was quite a few.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's got to set you back. That's got to be an expensive decision to make. But to me, it spoke of, you're like, you didn't go, hey, go find out and then we'll replace them. Mm-hmm. You didn't inconvenience the buyer in any way. You're just like, you know what? You might have a canvas cutter that works perfectly fine. That's totally legit, but that's not your problem. That we might have shipped you one that was wrong, and we're just going to deal with it for everybody all at once. And then just end this.
We knew the dates of when we got the product, and then we found out after we sold about half of them
that they leaked.
That the manufacturer, when they ran them through a dryer for the logo, they had the dryer too hot, and it ruined the waterproofing on the canvas. So we knew the date of when we got those and how many we had sold. There's always some crossover at the tail end of it and at the beginning. So we weren't quite sure. So we just mailed out brand new ones to everybody in those dates. Yeah, it was like the only thing to do. Like, our brand is like, we stand behind our products. We don't make crap. Like, we make gear that works and that lasts. And we just felt so bad. Like, we were so sick that somebody might be out on a hunt and it might rain and they get wet, and that would just ruin that night. So yeah, we replaced them all.
And what was the response?
People were very grateful. And like, I was surprised. I thought we might get some like, oh, you gave me this. Everybody was like really positive. Like, I can't believe you'd do that. And I was like, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
But yeah.
At that point, I was like, all right, I can get behind this company for sure. Like, I liked you and your dad for sure. But at that moment, I was thinking, yeah, they care about the customers. They feel like they're in their customer's shoes. If I'm that guy, this is what I would want. And you did that, which was really cool. And I remember you were saying that it hurt the bottom line for a while because you had to. It's a financial setback. All those sales just erased. So that was cool. And now, fast forward, you guys are booming.
Yeah, we're doing really good. So we're super.
You have
super stoked.
At least 3 employees.
Yes, we have at least 3 employees.
Me and Ben make 1, so it's really 2.
Yeah, 2 employees.
And so I'm curious, Ben, how did you get involved with Canvas Cutter? And what was the story there? Because when I first met you, I was following your posts on social media, laughing, and it was really entertaining to follow your content. You did a podcast with me at the Western Hunt Expo early. This is early.
Yeah.
And then slowly you've chased a dream. And I think it's cool. Your story's cool because a lot of people they would love for hunting to be also helping pay their bills.
Yeah. Yeah.
But not very many people actually make that happen.
No, and that was like something that I didn't know was going to be my goal in the beginning either. I just kind of like started talking crap on the internet, and my Instagram account kind of blew up, and then people are like, hey, like, let us send you stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, and then after, about a year, companies are like, hey, like, you want to work together on a promotional level, like, we can pay you money. I'm like, this is weird. So then, of course, at the time I was working as a janitor at a high school, I was doing custodial work, and I'm like, well, anything's probably better than this, no knock on janitors. It was a good job, but I just thought if I can get paid to shed hunt and hunt, which is all I cared about at the time, then I'll go chase that dream. And so as I was starting to build promotional relationships with companies, that's when I got to know Canvas Cutter through a buddy of mine. Josh Corbin was running one, and he just raved it up. He's like, this thing will change your life. And so I hit them up, I think, through Instagram. I reached out. It was probably Seth that I talked to in the good old days. And I basically said, hey, this is what I'm doing. Can I have a discount on a bedroll? And he's like, yeah, actually, let us just send you one and let's start like maybe a promotional relationship. I'm like, oh, that's cool. So that was like the first big ticket item anybody ever sent me, I think. And they came down to my house and brought it to me, Seth and his dad, Cheryl, and like gave me the ins and outs. And I was like, okay, this is cool. This is never like something that even crossed my mind, but just kind of began a promotional relationship with them and taking some photos. And at the time I was shed hunting like 5-6 days a week, just had barely quit my job. So like I was sleeping in it every single night. And just like everybody else who tries it, I was amazed at the new ways I found to use it. Like I was throwing it down instead of getting a hotel, sleeping in the back of the truck. Like I was cruising around in a Geo tracker at the time, like a 91 so awesome. Geo, and one of the doors would fall off sometimes. And I would just drive wherever I was going to go shed hunt. I'd drive all night and then throw it out in the dirt, sleep, and then get up and shed hunt. And over the years, just knowing these guys and doing some events like Western Hunt and other shows, going to total archery events, just like grew to be like family with the Larsens, with Seth and with Cheryl, and eventually got to know John. And like maybe about a year and a half ago, there's kind of a change in ownership that happened there with Cheryl wanting to retire and pursue some other things. And we sat down and talked about what it would look like to have me come on as a partner in Canvas Cutter. And I was just super stoked that somebody would even consider bringing me on. I'm like, what am I going to do? I don't know anything about this. But when I talked to Seth and John about it, it felt like a really good fit. And we just kind of been rolling with it since then. We came to an agreement that worked out for us. And so now I handle a lot of like the social media stuff that we do with Canvas Cutter. And I handle like our affiliate relationships. And I just it's kind of a minor role. Seth handles the lion's share for sure. But
no, it's fun. That's a bigger role.
That's the role you don't want to do.
Well, it just takes time.
Yeah.
Like it takes time to
handle
handle all the social media and then to stay in contact and with all the affiliates and find new ones. And Ben knows a ton of people and he's really good at meeting people and talking to them and like way better than me. So like that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But and people I think it's because Ben's comedy hides the fact that he's really, really brilliant and he's got really, really good ideas. Like he should be a millionaire 12 times over because he has brilliant ideas. And I wanted that on board with Canvas Cutter. Plus, we're friends. I feel like we get along really good. And he's like family. So So I wanted him on board. I wanted his ideas. I wanted him on the team.
Well, and I feel like it is a product that really suits you, Ben, and your lifestyle, how you live, all of that. I remember when you were
rugged.
Yeah. I remember when you were like, my wife and I, we've been praying about this decision for a long time, and we're finally in this position, and we've done, and it's going to be our first time, and it's that time. We've been together for a really long time. we feel like we can handle the debt and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, we're going to get our first Yeti cooler. And what's funny about that is coming from being a janitor at a school. Yeah, that's what it feels like. I've been there too, where I don't have much in the way of income. And a bedroll is one of those things where you're not rolling around in a toy hauler or a trailer.
No.
You know, you're in a geo tracker.
Yeah.
And so I think it really does lend itself to that do it yourself, blue collar, on a budget kind of person. And yet once you get it, you end up being like, I don't want to tow a trailer over here.
Yeah.
I don't want to go into debt on a toy hauler when I could throw out a canvas cutter
or like
and do
set
a
up
simple
a
life.
tent.
Yeah.
Do you know how bad I hate setting up tents? Like when I go camping with my family for my kids, like I'll set up a little tent my dad made them. I hate it. It's like when they're older, I'm so excited just to roll out their own bedroll.
Yeah.
And like they can do their thing, but we cram all three of our kids into a tent. And I like the time of setting up and taking down is so annoying. Yeah. Because I'm used to unclipping 3 buckles and being set up and then taking 2 minutes to roll the thing up and throw it in the truck.
Yeah.
So
especially if you roll in late.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
After like a drive from Utah to Arizona or something, or further up into Idaho, and you're tired, like you don't want to set up a tent.
Right.
Like just unroll.
I totally hear you. That's why when I come back after packing out, like Brad Hunt carried 160 pounds and I carried 140 pounds because we weighed it when we got back because we were really curious, like how much do we carry? We carried that 8 miles. Was my elk. Gosh. In one afternoon. And we got back, and what do you want to do? I don't want to set up a tent. I don't want to carry, like, I want to just throw out down a bedroll and heat up some ramen and then crash in the bedroll. Yeah. That's it. And that's where, having that kind of system really helps. If you have a truck and a truck bed, and if you have a canopy even, man, you got a shelf. Like all these options kind of roll out. They're pretty comfy, pretty nice. Ben, I find your whole journey, because I kind of did something similar. I wasn't a janitor, but I was working, doing a day job and everything, and I started doing podcasting on the side. But hunting was really, I just wanted to stick a microphone in people's faces and ask them questions and hang out and talk and have conversations like this and right. And one thing leads to another. And I got to meet so many cool and interesting people, ask them questions, pick their brain. And it's been really fun. And at the same time, it's been a lot of heartache too and struggle at the same time. But I feel like making that jump, quitting my job, right? And then going full time kind of in this direction, it was a big decision.
Yeah, for sure.
It was kind of scary. And there are people who kind of keep their feet in both worlds, never quite commit, to really go for it. But you did. And I'm just kind of curious now, looking back, what do you feel like, one, got you to do it, and two, what worked? What didn't work?
Yeah. So what kind of made me pull the trigger in a lot of ways was my wife. She has always been super supportive. She was like the one who got me to start trying to like crack jokes on Instagram instead of just being serious, Yeah. She's like, people want to see like you for who you are. Like you are not a serious person. So quit acting like a serious hunter. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But she basically, we got into a place financially that was a big deal for us. Like we got fully out of debt, which was something that we did independent of all this. It's not like I didn't do it so I could start hunting. We just decided that it was a good idea for our family and for our finances. And so we got fully out of debt. I had a job like with good benefits, the school district. It's I joke about it, janitor work, but it's a pretty decent paying job and has benefits. And then she actually got hired as a teacher as well. And we were worried about getting too comfortable living on 2 incomes, because our income jumped from like $40,000 a year, like up to like, $80,000 a year. And I'm like, well, we don't need all this money. And so we were talking about it and we're like, I don't want to go back into debt. We don't want to get comfortable. And she said, well, you've been talking about this forever and like wanting to do something in the hunting world. So if you were ever going to do it, you should do it. She had to teach for 2 years to get her student loans forgiven. And so we were kind of at a point where she's going to be working anyway. So I just decided to pull the trigger on it. And me and her were driving one day down the road, and I was whining about my job and something, just moaning about it. And she finally just, it was funny. She just says, just shut up, just shut up, just shut up. And I'm like, what? She's like, I can't listen to you talk about this anymore. Like, you have to either, like, I don't know if I can say the word on here, but she said, you either have to quit whining about it, you have to shut up about it, or you have to do it, because I can't hear it anymore. And I said, oh, I'll do it. And she said, sure, prove it. So, all right. So I got my phone out, and I called my boss, and I put in my 2 weeks, and I'm like, that's it, pulling the plug. So she was definitely the motivator behind it. And what worked and what hasn't worked has been just a million different things. I was an antler buyer for a while. I would cruise around. I had this old Chevy S10, and I got like a 5x8 enclosed trailer. I'd cruise all over the western U.S. and buy antlers. I'd flip and sell stuff off Facebook sometimes. I'd buy and sell just random crap, like anything to get extra money. I'd go to trade shows and work booths for all kinds of different companies, and I'd come up and do events and just whatever to get a little bit of income to keep things going. And we lived our lives like 1 month at a time. We had a little bit of savings built up that we never wanted to tap into, but we just said, okay, this month, this is what we can do. And we eventually got to the point where she got pregnant with our third kid, and she was able to quit her teaching job, and we just kept it going. So a lot of little things, but partnerships have made everything possible. Like the one that I have with Canvas Cutter. These guys helped me so much along the way, just in my own journey too, like bringing me to events and paying me to work at events, and just giving me like checks randomly in the beginning, and then like working together on a paid promotional level over time. And then now as a partner in the business, they've helped me carry that load of supporting my family so much along the way.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things, man.
It's interesting. Like I can think back and be like, hindsight's 20/20. And I can see what worked and what didn't work. And you figure it out. You throw it up on the wall, see if it sticks, and you're like, okay, that didn't work. And I think a lot of people are afraid to leave or let go of the safety blanket because they're like, what if it doesn't work? I approach it like, I expect it to not work. It's not gonna work.
And if it doesn't,
and I'm gonna figure out something else. And if that doesn't work, I'll figure it out something else. And it's a painful process because you're like, ooh, that didn't work.
Yeah.
That's not a winning formula. And then you go and you tweak this and you tweak that, and you're like, ooh, this is cool. I'm good at this. Yeah. And when I do this and this together with that, well, that's a winning combo. And you can start building and progressing. I just feel like you just have to have the attitude like, I'll find a way.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll figure it out.
And your worst case scenario becomes your old life. You know what I mean? Like for me, the worst case scenario was I have to go get another job and go back to work. Well, that's what I was doing anyway.
Which wasn't that bad.
No.
In the first place.
Yeah. I wasn't terribly unhappy.
I think about it all the time.
Yeah.
I'll let you all in a little secret. I think about giving this the double-barreled middle finger and then just going and back to being like a 6-figure income business guy. Like, I got a degree. I can just walk away
and experience.
And I enjoyed this ride.
Yeah.
But there's a part of me that sometimes just feels like the other ride was good too.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to deal with social media, which I've told you before we turn on the mics.
Yeah.
I despise social media. I love making films, and I love sharing stories, and I love to podcast and have like long form, meaningful conversations. What I hate is social media.
140 characters or less.
I just hate the negativity on it.
Yeah.
And how it brings out, it seems, the worst in humanity most of the time.
Yeah, it's a cesspool of negativity.
It had a time.
It did.
Where I loved it. Like a golden age. And then it went away. Now some people, there's people I like to follow, and they do a great job. They inspire me. It's just, there's a lot of junk in between, and you have to like really be deliberate about what you follow and don't follow. And even then it just creeps through. So
yeah, the junk gets so loud too. Like the negativity is so loud because there's so much. Like I always think about that when I get negative comments or messages or whatever. The positive ones are always like 100 to 1 to the negative. There's always so much more, but it's so easy to ignore the positive and just focus on the one dude that took a dig at you.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Well,
to
I think
fall into that.
I've heard, from a psychological perspective, human beings have evolved to pay intense attention to negative feedback. Because if you don't survive, right? Like you better take negative feedback seriously.
Yeah.
Because that's, it's important. But we live in a world today where, you can get unjustifiable negative feedback all the time.
Yeah, it's weird. It's not from people that actually have any standing.
Right. You wouldn't, in a normal world before the advent of the technology we have today, you just wouldn't know as many people as you know, as intimately and as well as you do.
Yeah.
I think of Joe Rogan sometimes. I'm like, dude, who does that guy not know? That guy will text me. And I'm like, and yet I think of all the people he's interviewed and all the people he knows. How does he keep track of who's who?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Like,
Totally texts me all the time.
But what I'm saying is the amount of human beings that he has a personal connection to, that he has interacted with,
It's crazy.
is mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. And prior to today's world, how could that? You couldn't even imagine it. You might know if you didn't have, even if you go back to the 1980s, right? You kind of knew the people in your community, and if you were in a position of notoriety, like you'd bump into a few people here and there, but not like today.
No.
Not like today. The list of people is wow.
Yeah.
And that's not normal. No. And then the list of people who give you feedback.
Yeah.
That's not
unqualified feedback.
Yeah, totally.
Is the problem.
And nobody had a direct line to give you feedback either, Like if somebody didn't like what you did, it's not like they could send a message to a thing in your pocket and have you look at it.
I heard Rogan say the other day, he said something, because when he went to Spotify, a bunch of people said, fire him from Spotify. Get rid of him because he's he's a Nazi. So everyone is nowadays. But so he's over there, talking about this, and he said, I get 10 million downloads on one episode. And, and he's like, but I have, let's say, a percentage of that of people that just hate my guts no matter what.
Right.
He's like, how many people that absolutely hate your guts and want you dead do you need to have in your life to make it uncomfortable? 1? 10? 10,000?
Yeah.
100,000? And those people are just a percentage of the number of people who follow you.
Right.
So he's like, it doesn't take very many awful people. It doesn't matter. Like you said, it's 10 to 1 or 100 to 1, the positive to the negative. But when you start dealing with tens of thousands of negative, it doesn't matter if you have 20 million, 50 million people that like you. Yeah. 10,000 people who hate your guts is a lot of people.
Yeah. Be overwhelmed. We could ask Trump.
Right.
He would know.
It's just an odd world. Anyway, back to let's dive into. Well, I want to ask Tanner here, John. How did you get involved?
So
besides being related,
that was to bring it all the way back. I actually married my wife so I could get
in the canvas
the bedrolls for the wedding gift that we got.
Nice.
Get a discount.
That
on
is
the
genius.
So when Cheryl decided he wanted to make it a business, he met with me and Seth, and initially I was involved, but I'm involved. I'm an owner in marble and glass company. So I just got too busy with that.
Yeah,
and
that company exploded.
Yeah, and I just
successful.
said I'm not going to be able to help. I would just be dead weight. So they kind of took off with it, and then when Cheryl eventually decided to step out, Seth just needed help. I said,
well, the thing with John is he's epitomizes the entrepreneurial spirit. Like when I was in high school, he had graduated. We were already talking about clothing companies. Yeah. We even started one, Basement Products, shout out, because it was in the basement in my room. But seriously, we were printing shirts and stuff. And then I left to Africa, and he got it into a skate shop and stuff, and came back, and he had got married and had his son, and it just kind of
died
down. But we've always, since I was a teenager, talked about running a company and we didn't want to have bosses. We wanted to do our own thing, and we both love creating and taking it to people. And So yeah, as soon as my dad decided he was ready to step down, I know John was already there in the very beginning. And I wanted that spirit and that drive and that understanding of business and how to grow one. He already has a successful business and fulfill that dream that we had when I was in high school too, and take a brand, build a brand, and take it to people.
So
something exciting about that.
Basically, we got 4 entrepreneurs here.
Yeah.
That do you guys feel like I do? Like, I am not good at being told what to do.
No, that was my issue. I never wanted to work for other people.
Yeah.
Or make other people rich.
Yeah.
So, like, I went to school, and going to school, we built this with the partner I have now, kind of slowly built this company just to get us through school, but it took off. And I saw that path. Like, universities pretty much just prepare you to be an employee. And I didn't want that. So we ran with that. And then Seth asked me to come on board, and I was all about it. So
plus we needed a model.
Right.
Look at that.
He's a handsome fella.
He's handsome.
Yeah, he doesn't have the Israeli look.
What's wrong with the Israeli?
It's okay.
Look.
It's just
You racist son of a.
No, it's not that. It's just, there's a little.
Brian. Yep. Go ahead. Explain.
Try and explain but
it's not that you're super ugly. It's just like.
You're not ugly.
I could see you carrying a bomb or an AK-47 or something.
Wow, that escalated quickly.
It was all you, Brian.
you just need to see him with those long
into a
flowing
whole-
locks.
Yeah, if
he
you
had.
saw me with my hair,
Yeah.
you might have a male crush on me. I'm just saying. Okay.
Well, your beard's gone.
Yeah, I
And
hacked
It's
it.
coming back.
Yeah. How long do you think it'll take?
2 more months.
That's
2 more months of supplements.
So are you good at being told what to do?
No, I've always had that problem. Like from the time I was a class clown, getting kicked out of class, like till every boss I've ever had, they're just been like, "You don't follow directions." It's true.
What was that?
Yeah. I'm the same way, Seth.
Yeah, I don't. That's why I could never. I've always wanted to go into the military. I never could because I could not have somebody like ordering me what to do. Like I would just end up getting beat like all the time and kicked out and court-martialed and like.
Sometimes it's not so much as I don't like being told what to do as much as I won't do what you tell me to do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna disappoint you.
I'll listen.
Most of the time.
I might or I might not do it because your idea I might or might not like. So really it does come down to I do it my way or we don't do it. And if you're okay with that, I can work for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That usually doesn't last very long.
No.
Yep.
And that's how I felt about film when I was making film. I'm like, I tried to work with other people who were talented and good. And I was like, no, I want to do it this way. And I realized I'm never going to like making film with other people unless I'm the boss of it.
Yeah.
And I do it how I want it. And I just, at the end, I just felt like, okay, it's just, you just got to bite the bullet, teach yourself, do it yourself. And that's the only way I'm going to be happy with what I make. Otherwise, I'm going to sit here and constantly be frustrated with the product I end up with as I try to employ or work with someone else to do it or be employed by someone else who tells me how to do it.
Well, and it's hard when you have this vision in your mind of how you want it to look and the feel you want it to have, and then turn that over to somebody else who has completely different feeling on how it should look and feel.
And some of those artistic people,
it's not going to work.
Artistic people, they have their own vision of how it should look, and I think they have a difficult time satisfying what the client wants.
Yeah.
When they have in their head their own artistic vision, but I'm just right, and so if it's like it's
still with it,
yeah. So it can cause some issues. But so you guys have taken off. Canvas Cutter's growing. One of the questions I have for you is on this business side of the house. I said this years ago. This isn't like technologic. This isn't like a new iPhone.
Right.
or a new like someone can copy you and do the same thing.
Well, people have been making bedrolls longer than we've made bedrolls.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my question is, how in such a market of anybody can like come up with some similar design or do sort of thing? How do you guys set yourself apart? What's your goal? How do you guys stay relevant in a field where some copycat can come along and try to like push your business out?
Constantly innovating the product, even the bedroll. Like, we've been around for 3 years. I remember you might not know this, but from our first podcast, we did the podcast. Like a month later, me and my dad went over everything. And we're not businessmen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's a retired railroader, and I was a teacher, and we realized we don't have our pricing right.
Yeah.
Like, we literally are losing money every time we sell these. Like, we can't pay the bills. Like, this can't. So we decided to change the price.
Mm-hmm.
Then 2 months after we changed the price, you posted the podcast, and the price was different. And so people were coming to our website from the podcast and being like, "You guys are greedy SOBs. Like, what are you doing? You said that it was 150 and now," like, sorry. Like, I'll never, like, yep, that was recorded a while ago.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it was recorded a while ago, believe it or not, and we've learned a few things. Yeah. And if you want to purchase the product, we have to be around for you to do that. And we weren't going to be around if we were on the same course. But innovation, like, we've already changed the Dominator, our standard, the sidewalls. We've changed weather flaps, zippers. We've upgraded on the straps, the waterproofing, the breathability, that, and being louder than other people, to be quite frank. Like, somebody could, I guess, go buy some canvas. Hopefully they get the right stuff, because it's not traditional canvas. Traditional canvas will wick through, and they're expensive to make. They actually cost quite a bit to make, and so they're going to have the funds, which somebody could if they want to.
Right,
but our goal is to be innovative, come out with other products besides the bedroll, and to continue to improve the bedroll that we have, and to be as loud as we can. So.
What about your branding? Because that's been pretty cool to see your logo and your hats and different parts of that come along, where I see a dude that's out hunting and he's wearing canvas cutter apparel. Like, that's surprising.
Yeah.
I can't do apparel. I'm too lazy. I'm too bored with it. Like, I have the same gritty hat for like 7 years, and I don't change it at all. And I'm pathetic.
Like, you're always wearing gritty like shirts and stuff.
At the same shirt for 4 years. Like, I don't do that stuff. I should probably, but but here, I see you guys doing that, and I go to the Western Hunt Expo and stuff, and I see dudes totally chilling in it.
Well, I'm glad you're recognizing that. We actually talked about this recently. We really want to ramp things up on the branding side of it. Like, John has some great ideas. Ben has, I don't know if you've seen Ben's own apparel with Shed Crazy, but he's got great ideas too. Yeah. I think we all really appreciate a good looking hat. We all appreciate a sweet shirt. And we all have
to fit
ideas.
Right, because I want to,
those guns. And so I think we all like the branding and apparel side of things and have ideas. And John's really, really good at that. And so
because when you look at
push that a lot more.
Because when you look at like a cooler, you have coolers and then you have a Yeti.
Right.
That's branding.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And so there's a value in people's minds of a certain like image of that, where a guy will wear a Yeti hat. He's not going to wear I don't know,
Igloo.
Yeah,
Igloo hat.
That was pretty safe. I don't want to piss off any other cooler companies, but
here to help.
Thank you. But
Igloo
lifetime. Like you're not. There's that, and that's a challenge. But I think it's wise to do that, because we live in a world today where people want to be associated with a certain tribe, a certain community, a certain group that have like-minded ideas and values and styles and stuff. And, what you guys are promoting is this outdoor mobility, run and gun, simplicity kind of style, back to the old school ways things are done. The leather patch kind of really lends itself to that kind of feel, and I like it. I think, and I do think it's important. It makes me more excited to promote Canvas Cutter, not just because I like the product and I use it, which there's a lot of products like that, but then you add the lifestyle and the branding to it. I'm like, yeah, I like this. This is cool. I want to be associated with this community, this group.
Well, that's what we want, a lot of that connection with our customers too, like we look at it not just from a marketing perspective, but like we look at it like we want to feel like this is our crew, these are our people. We see people get out and wear our apparel or use our bedrolls and go out and like have good experiences, and we hear the feedback of them, like maybe getting out with their kids in a situation that could have been uncomfortable and having a good experience. And like we love that, man. We live for those responses. To see people on social media, it makes us feel like so fulfilled to see people use and enjoy the products and want to participate in the brand. Like it's not just a marketing technique. It's something that we're all super passionate and like hyped up on.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think people understand, like when somebody sends me an email, like to thank me for making a great product, like that literally makes my day. Like I'm stoked the rest of the day.
Right.
I got a kid that emailed me a photo. He went on a snowboarding trip and he went to bed in his he took his bedroll and all his friends were like, "What are you doing?" And he slept in it. It snowed like a foot where they were at. And his friend took a picture of his bedroll before it's just like coated. He's like, "I was so warm and comfortable. I didn't even want to wake up. Like, thank you so much." Like that does so much to like want to make us want to keep going and continue to make good products and continue to share that with other people and help people know like what we have to offer with our products. Yeah. You get one email that's like, "Why are your bedrolls so expensive? Like you guys just trying to rip people." I hate those.
Right.
They eat me to death. And I've had to get counseling from Ben several times about like, this guy's really mad at us because
Ben and I are used to that. It's Teflon at this point. Like it really does.
It's just I want people to know we're sincere.
Yeah.
Like we're really trying to make the best product.
Yeah.
And we really want them to have a good experience. And if they feel like we're ripping them off or like we've wronged them, like it cuts me deep.
One thing I think there's going to be the community of people who really like this product. It fits a certain lifestyle kind of person. And one of them is like the snowboarding bum, right? Ryan and I, we would rather sleep outside on the ground than go to a hotel in the first place. Like, I don't want to check in. I don't want to wear your damn COVID mask. I don't want you to tell me, I don't want you to tell me what to do. Like all sorts of issues around it. And I want to just be able to be outside. Like there's just all these things about feeling trapped in the hotel.
Well, it's not your bed.
And
like who slept in
and
it.
It cost me
when was the last
$80? $150? Like hell no. And so for me, it's like that's your demographic. Guy, it's too cheap to pay for a hotel. Like that's your people.
That's our selling point. I tell people that all the time. It's 3 nights in a hotel and you got yourself a bedroll. Like you stay in a hotel for 3 nights, you're not going to get anything out of that except maybe bed bugs. Yeah. Like you buy a bedroll and you got something that's guaranteed for life.
Yeah. And I think it's like everything. You have to make that you pay now or pay later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it wouldn't matter if the hotel was free. That's where I'm coming from. Like, I don't like them. Like, I like the really nice ones. Those aren't going to be free. But a lot of them are just run down dumps, and I don't want to have anything to do with that.
Yeah. And then sometimes you'll encounter one of those hotels and you need your bedroll in the hotel.
Yeah.
We've
done that a lot.
Yeah.
No, it's like, would you rather take a dump outside or use the outhouse?
Oh man, I'd take it outside.
I'd rather go outside, and that's how I feel about the bedroll versus the hotel.
Right.
It's like I'd rather sleep in the bedroll than go into that hotel.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. So you guys have a couple more products that I haven't seen.
We do, and we brought them for you. Yeah.
And I want to see one. you've got
let's
the
Gander
duffel,
at maybe the burrow.
Duffel bag.
which my brother started spying on, and he was like, "Oh, I want that."
Yeah, so we've wanted a duffel bag for a really long time, and
Well, of course, because you guys make stuff out of canvas.
and people, our customers, have wanted us to come out with a duffel bag for a really long time, but we didn't want to come out with just another duffel bag.
Yeah.
And so we all started doing our research and our homework on the bags that were out there, features that we liked, features that we didn't like, and
Like
Try to
Ben
come up with
or
something
Seth's
that would-
model this thing for me.
All right,
man.
this is
functional.
what
Show 'em
we
the
came up with.
feature.
So it's engineered and designed to fit in a carry-on. So like if you need to put it in the overhead container, you can. So you have your main compartment here. This is where you're going to put your clothes.
Okay.
And then it has these buckles
Compression
inside,
straps.
compression straps, so you can keep your clothes folded. And like
Yep.
when you go rifling around, you're not upsetting everything. One of the main things that we really were stoked about was this boot pocket that's on the side here.
Ah,
So that actually extends into the main compartment of the bag where you can keep your stinky boots or whatever, your dirty clothes away from
Tennies.
everything that's in the main pocket.
going to the
you
gym.
can throw your tennies,
dirty
you can throw
underwear,
your boots, but
your jock strap.
like
Some
Ben
of us have
mentioned,
to have one of those. 'Cause,
It also works as a dirty clothes pocket. So it's a boot pocket, doubles as a dirty clothes pocket.
As you're pulling stuff out of here, wearing it, you put it in here and it extends over so that you, by the end of your trip, you're going to have, pretty much half dirty clothes.
Yep.
And then your stuff that stays
yeah,
in here.
totally.
Mesh pocket on the top for all your easy, your tech stuff. We put chargers,
Yep.
everything in here that you can see when you're rifling through. Another side pocket here. This is just for your regular gear. And then you have, that's just a smaller side pocket,
Nice.
stow and go.
Okay.
Then on the front, you have here your items you might need during flight or
Wallet,
whatever.
Cell phone,
wallet,
passport,
headphones.
cell phone, headphones.
And then we get to the cooler features. I feel like I'm on Home Shopping Network.
Serious.
And here,
when
folks,
you turn it over,
You need to go a little faster if you are on QVC.
Yep. So then on the back here, and we're doing these zippers for the first time, so they have to be zipped and then unzipped. But
so that's a designated dirty clothes pocket, but you could also use it if you're traveling for a laptop
Yeah.
where it could
Gotcha.
slide in there.
yep. So you have a full length pocket on the back there. Anything you need to cram in there. And then this here is my favorite feature. So you have the backpack straps.
Yeah,
that
this is where
fully
Brent.
hide.
This is where Brent was hooked.
And then
So
they
it-
come out, clip on here.
Quick release buckles, so they're easy to connect and
So you
disconnect.
could throw your laptop in that pocket right there.
Yep.
Stuff
wear
your
your
crap in
backpack.
Super
there.
easy to travel with, wear around when you're in.
So you can make it the duffel,
The
or you can
airport.
make it the backpack.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's got a chest strap too.
Actually wears like a backpack.
Yeah, we were. I won't speak for us, but I think it was us. I was super surprised at how it wears. When it's fully loaded and you have clothes in it, it actually feels like a backpack, not like a saggy duffel bag.
This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because you can beat the crap out of this. I bet the more you use it, the more it starts to really
It will get
feel
worked in.
natural
Yeah.
and worked in.
It's the exact. So the canvas is the same canvas we use on our bedrolls. It's a 12-ounce canvas. It's got the same water-resistant coating on the outside, but because it doesn't need to be breathable like our bedrolls, we really amped up the polyurethane coating on the inside. So it's 4 times as waterproof. The canvases than our bedrolls, and then and then we use YKK taped zippers on all the zippers. And if you notice, on all the pockets have this flap over the zipper to also increase water will roll right off that.
Yeah.
So when you're unzipping it, it's good sometimes to fold that over too.
Yeah.
It makes it a little easier. But so we just wanted a duffel bag that had multiple features that we found in a bag here or a bag there, but not in one bag. And
That's pretty
something that
tight.
you could throw outside your
Yeah.
bedroll in whatever weather.
That was the biggest
You
thing. We
faced.
wanted something to accompany the bedroll that isn't going to get wet.
You can throw it in the back.
What
of
is
your
this
truck.
for?
So we'll have future bags that, or let's say you're going to the gym to get tore up from the floor up, and you want to clip on a bottle or something. You could go ahead and do that.
Just a carabiner,
Carabiner. Yep.
It has compression on the sides too, so if you ever need to just suck it down like that.
Especially if it's on your back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even
Yep.
so
If
it's
you're
not
in the
just
airport
flopping
and
all
stuff.
over.
Yep.
It's got compression straps on front and back and inside.
Yeah. This is cool.
We messed with a bunch of materials. Like we got a bunch of different samples and stuff, and we just kept coming back to the love we have for the canvas that we use on the Bedrolls. Like, so timeless and tough. It does everything you need it to, and so that's where we landed. And like, we're all super stoked. Like, this pattern that's multicam that's on the straps is one that like we actually kind of came up with, and we like it.
I like it. So, question: I just got back from Arizona, and I was using a backpack about this size for like my stocks, daily stocks. Now, the one I used is a Sitka, and it's their whitetail elevated like pack, and it's like Berber fleece kind of material. It just doesn't make any noise.
Yeah, it's quiet.
Is dead silent, like built for that intent. But I wondered, it's sort of like a sack though. It's missing some, in my opinion.
Stand bag.
Yeah, it's a tree stand bag, and I'm just like, I would like that same kind of concept, but with a little more form and fit, because I feel like there's a lot of people aren't paying attention to those kind of day
bags
where you're going on a 3 or 4 or 5, 6 hour stock, and I need to be able to carry my stockasins, an extra pair of wool socks to throw over the top or whatever. I want a water bottle. Yeah. I want some lunch for the day. I want to throw a puffy in there, maybe even something just in case it gets too cold. There's just some things I need to have with me as I'm just jumping around, chasing and belly crawling on mule deer and javelina and that kind of thing. And I feel like, what I was using from Sitka was all right. And looking around, everything I'm finding is too loud. It'd be cool to have something. I like this canvas material, and that it's waterproof, because what Sitka has isn't. This is fairly quiet. This is a pretty
gone
quiet
on
kind of material.
Wearing one,
but I'm wondering, I'd like to see something like that.
Yeah. And we built it, the material, we chose it for the durability of it, like, I'm not sure how quiet it would be. Like, it's mostly just something that we thought would be handy for the daily use, jump on a plane or a duffel bag to go on a trip. But we have some ideas when it comes to different bags and stuff. Like, it's something we think about a lot.
Yeah. And we've all bought stuff. That's why a lot of our products are a big initial investment, like we said, but we want them to, like, you may not ever have to buy a duffel bag again. Bedroll, you may not ever have to buy a bedroll again.
Yeah.
So
right, for sure. I mean, this is just tried and true.
Yeah,
I'm surprised how much I like it. How much I like canvas. When I was a kid, my parents were Army surplus shoppers, and we had giant Army surplus duffel bags. We'd stuff sleeping bags and gear and all this stuff in there. And our whole camp, everything we did, and then going to school, I'd carry Army duffel bags. Like, it was just what we did. This reminds me of being, an Oregon City kid with an old Army duffel. It's way more innovative.
Yeah, there's a reason the materials existed for so long, and it hasn't been innovated past. Like, we looked at doing these out of Cordura, and we looked at a few other things and stuff, and we all just love the feel and the function of the canvas, and it's we like the way that it fits with what we do in the brand. But you can take that traditional canvas, and like, a lot of the coatings and things that we put on it are pretty innovative to make it function a lot in a lot better way. And I think that, like, what you end up with is a product that's a really good combination of the classic and the modern.
Yeah.
And it's comfort.
One of my favorite bags is that Yeti backpack. What is it? It's canvas, isn't it? Or some kind of that's like
I have one of those
canvas type material.
Similar, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. And you're talking about a company that's trying to be innovative and modern, yet this is what they're going with. So
yeah, a lot of like Filson's and other brands like that, that we like identify with, I guess. They're all doing stuff out of canvas, and it's because it just continues to do its job.
Yep. How much is a canvas cutter bedroll?
So the Dominator is $319, and the Fortress is $306.
Gotcha.
And then if you want it, we sell the Dominator in different bundle packages, so you can get it with the 3-inch mattress foam and a standard pole system, and that's $449. $460. And then you can get it with the full length pull system, and that's a pull system that goes from your head to the foot, and that is $521.
Okay.
And then the Fortress also, you can get it with foam and a pull system as well, and it's just a smaller bedroll in size. The length's the same. They're both 84 inches or 7 feet long, but the Fortress just tapers to the foot box. So it starts out at 30 inches at your shoulder, and it tapers to 24 inches.
Yep.
And then the sidewalls also taper from 14 inches down to 11. So
And you're basically, you've got the full body length pole system or just the one over your head. I've only used the one over my head.
yeah,
But I could see
I'll be interested in see what you think of
the full length.
Yeah, a lot of people are purchasing that and like it, and then you have some that have had their bedrolls and have used them without a pull system for most of the time they've had them, and they prefer the standard pull system that's just over your head.
I like the one that's just over my head. It only takes a second to pop it up. And it just gives you a little more room. Now, when I'm really tired and I've slept in it without the poles system installed a billion times.
Yeah, I'm a pole guy.
I just crawl in and go down.
Yeah, and the full length doesn't take much longer. I like it because I sleep on my back and I don't like the weight of the canvas on my feet, but I do it both ways as well.
Now, when are we going to have like a his and hers like couples canvas cutter?
Yeah,
You just have to get closer.
just we've got one. It's called the Dominator. We've talked about it. I don't know.
Like,
we came out with a sample.
I'm a man. I'm a broad-chested man. Like that's a lot of that's a small little space for the wife and I to both crawl in. Now, if we're stacked, it doesn't matter.
You just if you spoon like this.
It's possible. I'll attest to that.
It's possible.
I ended up sleeping in one with my boy because he forgot one. It was miserable. He slept good, but I didn't.
No, we've talked about doing a double for a long time, and actually came out with one.
Yeah, we had one,
years ago.
and it will probably have the same. It was the Honeymooner.
I remember seeing some.
We only produced a handful of them just to see how people would react, and we sold them very fast. We didn't calculate the cost of production and the time. And so we just hit the pause button on it. And I feel like we got away from our brand. It was morphing more into a canvas tent than a bedroll.
Yeah.
And I think we need to rein that back to just being a wider bedroll for two people. We do get requests, but the production process for those who don't run a gear company, to go from an idea to an end product is an arduous process, and it takes a lot of time, and it frustrates me to death because if I could snap my fingers and be like, here's a double wide, go enjoy it, I would, but we've talked about it. It's on the docket, but it's probably out a little ways. Yeah,
it would be. I could say if it had a little pole system from end to end, I could crawl in there with my honey, like that would be sweet. Yeah, be sweet. Now, especially if it didn't take up too much room, when you roll it up, throw it in the back.
What's
of
your
the truck.
feelings if it had a pull system, like a standard pull system, where it was like chest and up, but across both of you?
Sure, that would be okay. I just would like to disguise the movement inside.
Sure. Hopefully it's dark enough.
I'm just saying, that way there's a little bit of telltale.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
You could also take a break, for a little while. That's a possibility.
That's what a beta male says.
For, what is it, 24 days?
Hey, shut up, Ben. We're but I think you do need to make a double.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah.
But down the road.
It's in the future.
It's on the docket, yeah.
And the thing about it, I'll say this, that it's an investment, but once you buy it, you're done.
Yeah.
You're really done.
That's the idea. That's the other thing I think people need to get around is if you think you're going to make this purchase one time.
Yeah.
Like people spend $500 on a jacket.
Yeah.
And then in a couple years, they buy another jacket. Like,
Yeah.
you're going to make this purchase and
But I think
just have
people
it.
see it as a pretty simple thing to make, yet not knowing that it's much more than that.
Yeah, until they make one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a simple concept and it's simple to use, but making and the materials and the process is not as simple as you would originally think.
The amount of innovation that went into it, like Cheryl, Seth's dad, and even Seth put into like the second generation, the first generation Bedrolls. Like Seth's dad, Cheryl, has a mind for this. Like you can tell he's just like good at figuring out how to meet needs and build things. And it's really cool to see the stuff that he comes out with because he's just an innovative guy. And I think there's no, like, you think about it, oh, it's just a canvas bedroll, but like to figure out how to do it would be way more complicated.
Yeah, and go look at other canvas bedrolls.
Yeah. I have. I got some for free. I won that I never used.
Yeah.
I tried a couple of times. I'm like, yeah, this isn't innovative. Like, just pick your canvas tent company, and they make a bedroll, and they're junk.
Yeah.
It's like a canvas blanket that you fold over yourself.
Yeah, we went to Cowboy Christmas
model,
year. Was that last year that we did Cowboy Christmas or 2?
Year before.
And it was so awesome because, at Western Hunt, we take some time to explain like the concept.
Yeah.
At Cowboy Christmas in Vegas, they'd just walk up and be like, that is a sweet bedroll. They already knew what it was.
Yeah.
They have bedrolls that suck.
Yeah.
They know like, oh yeah, we need those.
But one thing I love about mine is it's already got my blanket, my pillows, or my sleeping bag. It's already there.
Yeah.
So you just roll it out and you're in it.
Yeah.
And that's nice.
Not unpacking.
Yep. What really, really chaps my hide is when I show up somewhere, roll it out, and my pillow isn't in it because
that's the
somebody
worst.
borrowed your
something got it removed. Someone. And you just assume it's there, and then you're sleeping without a pillow.
Trying to make one out of your coat.
That's stupid.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Especially if you're in a canvas cutter, the whole point is
comfort
to have a pillow.
Yeah.
You're not backpacking this thing in.
No.
It's right there with
Although
the truck.
some people
so there
ask
should
us
be a
about
pillow.
that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're good for side sleepers. They're good for everybody. Like, you can find a way to be comfortable. People always are like, oh, I'll be claustrophobic or whatever, but you won't.
Oh, it's so comfy.
Yeah, people don't
so
realize
comfy.
that there's more room in there than you think.
So you're giving me an affiliate
Yeah.
code
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
for our audience.
Absolutely, yes.
So the Dominator, you said it was how much? 3?
If you get the top tier, it's $521.
Okay, and if you get the
and then it
basic
goes
model,
down from that. So it's like $460, and then it drops down to if you want just the
Depending on
canvas
what's
shell.
included in the kit.
Yeah, depending on what's
Gotcha.
included.
Okay.
It's just above $300.
It's worth the extra spend to get the
foam and the poles.
pole
Even if you're
system,
like,
though.
well, can I roll it smaller with an air pad? Yeah, absolutely you can.
But then you'd be sleeping
just
on an
like,
air pad.
I beg you just to get the foam and to try it.
Oh, yeah.
Because
No,
you're not
there's
backpacking
no-
with it. So, and
no
your truck
way.
doesn't care how
Like-
much it weighs. So just
Lampers and I talk about this all the time. It's like we actually look forward to getting back to the truck so we can crash in the canvas cutter because it's just on another level of comfort when you compare it to sleeping on. Even though our pads are nice and our down bags are legit and we have a system for backpacking, it ain't that. It's not the same as your canvas cutter.
Yeah.
So I think for there's everyone I know that's got one or used one. My buddies who have been outfitted with, everybody loves them. They are something I'm excited to talk about or just share with people and you guys are cool people. People save. How much do they save?
So they can get 10% off their purchase by using promo code GRITTY.
Gritty.
Yep. And if you put the promo code in, continue with your checkout, and it will deduct the 10%. Yep.
So they're going to save like $50 if they get if they get the cat's meow.
Yep.
Very cool. Well, I think we need to have you guys back when you come out with some new stuff.
Yeah.
And you said there's some new stuff.
There
You're
is
just
some.
not
We're
ready to
super
talk about it.
We're super excited about it, actually.
We've been teasing it for too long, but we are finally ready to pull the trigger on some new stuff. So we're excited.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So right here we've got a new product that you guys just came out with. It's not actually for sale though yet.
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's on the
it's on the website. It's been for sale for a little while now.
So basically, this is a summertime or a fair weather deal where, for those that are listening and not watching, it's basically a canvas cutter mesh.
Yeah, it's literally called the mesh, as the tag says. But there's a lot of people that love to use our products, but it's hard when it's warm in the summer.
Yeah.
And you want to unzip it, and you don't want the mosquitoes or the flies or for those naps. I don't know if you've napped in your canvas cutter. You can take some bomb naps in a canvas cutter, you know what I'm saying? But when you have a fly trying to go up your nose, every 10 minutes ruins it. So we have a lot of customers in Texas, and there's a few bugs in Texas and in the South. And they wanted something like this, and we had talked about it.
So do you just put your foam mattress in here, or do you put the whole canvas cutter in here?
No, so your foam mattress goes inside of this and your sleeping bag, right? What you want to do. It's got built-in grommets for the full-length pull system, but you can use it with the standard pull system. Just put your pad in it, and then this goes inside the Dominator. So it's fit. The measurements
so
of
the canvas can go around the mesh.
Yeah.
It's designed to go inside your Dominator bedroll. It's size.
So then you can just unzip the Dominator bedroll, let it flop open the canvas part,
and you still have a mesh.
But you got the canvas bottom, keeps it from getting
so
wet.
So it's actually
or whatever.
70D nylon on this. It is taped, and the nylon's waterproof, and then you're already inside a waterproof canvas a bag too. It's got 4 zipper sliders as well, so that you can unzip on either side.
So what I like about this is it keeps the mosquitoes, the gnats, or the ticks.
The ticks.
The ticks in spring bear freak me out.
Yeah.
Ben knows this more than I do because he spends time shed hunting in Nevada. But we have a lot of customers in Nevada, especially, that don't want the snakes
Yep.
and the scorpions. Because they just throw out on the ground.
Oh yeah.
So this keeps snakes from joining you at night, and scorpions that can't get in with you, which is
absolutely.
nice.
I can see this little add-on being just brilliant. One thing I like about the canvas cutter is that it I sleep in a lot better because it blocks the sun quite a bit, and so it's like sleeping in a basement or a blacked out room.
Yep.
Yeah.
So. But then it's too hot if the sun is out. And so being able to just prop this up in the shade of your truck or under a tree or something like that.
Or just head it to open up your bedroll so you have really good airflow and it's cooler, and you use your bedroll to shade you, but you don't have to deal with the bugs.
Yep.
But the cool thing about it, too, is we tried to design it so that it could be used. So let's say you show up at elk camp and you have your base camp, you throw out your bedroll, but you want to be able to, you find some elk maybe a little higher than you think. You can take this out of your Dominator, have an air pad and a down bag, and roll it up and use it as its own sleep system. So it's got paracord D-loop at the head and the foot that you could tie off to your trekking poles. And again, you can use the full-length pole system with it or the standard pole system too. And then it's got them on the corners too, so you can stake it down.
How much does this
tie
weigh?
it off. It's like a pound, 1 pound, 3 ounces.
Okay. So you could just throw this in your pack with your air pad instead of bringing a tent.
Yeah, if you're not worried about weather.
Yeah, if it's fair weather,
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you can just prop it up.
Have a mesh tent and keep the bugs off.
But it really shines inside like the Dominator.
Yeah.
It will fit in the Fortress. It's designed to fit the Dominator.
There's lots of times where I've wished I had a mesh screen and I could just open up my canvas cutter and just chill.
Yep.
Lots of times. And I've been freaked out by when I sleep on the ground and it's hot because it's springtime and it's spring bear. That happens to us all the time because we kill like a lot of bears, Ben. We kill like 7 or 8 bears a year, and we can them all and we eat them all, and they're delicious. Bear hunting is like right up near the top of the best kind of hunting in the world. Well, the ticks in the spring in some areas, I swear it's apocalyptic.
Yeah.
There are so many. It's just freakish.
Disturbing.
I'm pulling them off me all day long, and I have a hard time sleeping. And so when I get in a canvas cutter back at the truck, I crawl inside, but I just zip it up and deal with being hot because that's easier than getting hit by, Lyme's disease.
Yeah.
So, but I don't actually end up using my canvas cutter as often because of that reason in the spring, because at least when it's hot,
Right.
because I want something I can zip shut so I can keep the bugs out but not be on fire. So this is a good move, fellas.
Yeah.
And it works. I think it works good too. If you hike in with a tarp,
Mm-hmm.
you can use that as your ground cloth as well as keep the bugs off you. So
Yeah. And
As
like
lightweight as it
everything
is.
that we make too, we could have made this lighter by doing a really light nylon, but we kept with a 70D base, so it's a little more heavy duty and can take a little more
it feels
abuse.
pretty stout.
Knowing that most people will use it inside their bedroll,
Yeah.
but that it can withstand it being on the ground too.
Yeah. No, it is. It feels like a solidly built deal. I think we should throw some photos and the images up on the podcast if people are watching it on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
If you're listening, you're just going to have to go check out canvascutter.com and check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good photos of this on our social too.
Gotcha.
Some pictures of me sleeping under the
Yeah.
shade.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, you really get the full vision of its potential when you look at Ben sleeping in it under the shade. Yeah.
And what's the lightweight version that you guys have of the bedroll?
The
What's that
Fortress?
called?
the Fortress.
That's the Fortress?
The smaller one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yep.
the other canvas version that we have currently.
And that one, how much does that one cost? And what's the pitch for that
it's
one
306.
instead of the Dominator?
It's small. It's smaller, right? So the Dominator is a little more bulky, especially when you get a big bag in it. Where the Fortress, it rolls up smaller, takes up less space. It's made out of the exact same canvas. It's the same waterproofing, same zippers,
a
same
little bit
straps.
different cut.
It's got
There's
tapered
the tapers
cut.
and all that, but it also the mattress is thinner.
No. So it also has a 3-inch mattress, but it was designed in mind for people who want a lighter option and maybe do want to use an air pad with it. The compression straps on it are a little shorter than the Dominator because it does roll smaller. And like I said, it was designed to be a lighter, smaller option, not to be huge and bulky.
The way I picture it is I have the big one for the big daddy. And then for my buddies or my kids,
Yeah.
they get the smaller model that's more compact and a little less expensive.
I love my Fortress.
Yeah, I sleep in it too.
Like
I like the Fortress.
people
Do
are
you?
like, is it too? It's not. It's smaller than the Dominator. That's the
Dominator's
whole point.
huge.
That's the whole point. But it's not so small that you feel confined and claustrophobic in it. But
All right. Well, I
like
haven't
it.
used that one. So
Yeah, we
you'll
need to get you
have
one.
You'll have to try it out. Like that's what I use for my kids. But like I think all of last year I slept in a Fortress.
Yeah.
It's ideal for wildland fire guys as well. And when we kind of were running through the options, that was one of the things we liked about it because it's a little more compact, so they can put it in the back of a rig or whatever and have some more room.
Right. Because
Yeah,
that Dominator takes up a little space.
Yeah, and wildland firefighters are limited on the space they can take, and so we actually when we were designing it and coming out with it, we actually had a couple wildland firefighters helping us. Originally, it was in a pearl gray. It kind of matched like a Forest Service color.
Yeah, I remember
and now
that.
It's the same khaki. It's the same khaki color as the Dominator, but
Okay.
that was the original idea, is for people in work situations and stuff that need a lighter, more compact option.
Yep. Without losing a
Provide that
whole lot in
without
comfort.
losing like a whole lot of comfort. Yep. The foam pad is instead of 32 inches wide, it's 24 inches wide because the foot box is 24 inches wide. So we had to come up with that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
at the shoulder, I mean, it's 30 inches wide. I know you're broad chested.
Yeah, I
but
think
you're
I'm-
not that broad.
Yeah.
And,
You'll have tons of room in there.
It's right about where I
Yeah.
think it. Yeah.
and it's the same height.
I hate 24-inch pads. Like when people bring those home and they're air pads
Yeah, they're air
and they're
pad.
like a 4-inch pad, and I'm like, well, who the hell sleeps on this thing? Like, it's irritating.
yeah.
And but I always surprises me.
Yeah, you'll be surprised. It's the same length though too. We get that question a lot. A lot of people maybe don't analyze the two on the website as closely as they could. All the dimensions are there, so if you want to see that, you can. So I'll get emails just being like, What's the difference between the Fortress and the Dominator?
How many
And it's the
7-footers
size.
call in and say, I need one bigger?
Oh, dude. No, it's not 7-footers.
It's 6'2".
It's 6'2". We get all the time. I'm 6'2". I don't think I'll fit in it. We actually do have a customer that is legit 7 feet. I have a picture with him at Western Hunt. And I come to his armpit, maybe the top of my head, and I was like, "You have a Dominator?" He's like, "Dude, I get lost in that thing." It's like, "I've got to get a picture with you. Is that cool?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah." So no, it's not tall people. It's people who think they're tall that are like, "Well, I fit in this. I'm pretty tall,
Yeah,
pretty
you're
big."
5'11", Steve. You'll be fine.
Yeah, you're gonna make it. You're gonna make it. Like, yeah. So if you're under 7, if you're 7 foot or under, I'm confident you're going to sleep comfortably.
Right on. Where can people find Canvas Cutter?
At Canvas Cutter on socials.
Spelled Canvas, CANVAS.
Yes.
Cutter.
CUTTER.
All one
Cutter.
word.
All one word. And then at canvascutter.com or just canvascutter.com.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they can get a hold of Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Where?
All my Instagram and stuff is all under Shed Crazy. That's where all my media is at.
All one word.
Yeah, but if you hit the Canvas Cutter DMs, I'll be there too.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And then you've got a YouTube channel that's pretty active. Does Canvas Cutter have a YouTube channel?
We do. Yeah. Yep. And we released our Idaho elk hunt. I'm doing a second part on that.
Oh, yeah? Is
we've
it any good? I haven't seen it.
Well, go watch it. Thanks for the support. Appreciate it.
It's pretty good.
I mean, you tell
It
me I
was
look like a
successful.
terrorist, and then you don't even watch
Yeah?
our
It
film.
was successful, so that's all we'll
Yeah.
say.
I'm always enjoying hunting content, even when it's not the best, because there's not a lot of it out there.
Well,
not saying yours isn't the best.
No.
I'm just saying,
Yeah, yeah.
it's good. I think people should go and check it out.
I tried to.
Seth does
I
a good
tried
job on the edits.
He
Try
does.
to do.
Underrated
Nice.
videographer, for
Hey,
sure.
If you ever want to sit down and go
bring
over
this full
edits,
circle.
dude,
I'm all about it.
I'm
I geek
all
out
about
on that
sharing
stuff.
this, talking about
Yeah.
techniques and
We've got that. I had a successful muzzleloader elk hunt here in Utah. We got to do that one. John had a muzzleloader elk tag too.
and you're producing them.
Yep.
Nice.
And then we have a couple Arizona ones too.
Go watch him. You'll be surprised. You'll be like, Seth edited this?
Yeah, you will. You'd be like, he looks like a terrorist, but he edits pretty good.
You can't get past it.
I don't think Israelis are terrorists. I think they're actually good freedom fighters.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm all about it. Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm just.
Thank you.
They're just.
I'd be a great
they're-
freedom fighter.
They're
but
just.
Can I edit?
They're
I'd
just
probably not.
ornery. Don't hit them; they'll hit you back.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you have that appearance,
I have
if
that
you're a
attitude
palace.
too. So
You know some ancient Hebrew too, don't you?
right?
Greek, mainly Greek.
Greek. Oh, there you go.
Oh,
That makes
that
sense.
could be there too.
I did do
Yeah.
ancient Near Eastern studies as my
Really?
undergrad
Oh,
degree.
that's right. Didn't you
Yeah.
teach something like that in school or whatever?
Yeah, yeah.
What a weird degree.
So awesome.
So, Ben, they can get at Shed Crazy. You have a YouTube channel too.
Yeah, it's all under Shed Crazy. Everything of mine is. So I don't want to brag, but I have a lot of subscribers. So if you guys want to check out some really good videos.
Kind of a big deal.
And you
find
have
me on the internet.
you've all been producing content there.
Yeah, I drop a couple videos a week over there.
Very cool. But John, you don't
John's
have
got a lawnmower YouTube
John has
channel.
a successful business instead.
Yeah. Instead of wasting time, John's
John's
just running a
independently
successful-
wealthy.
Instead of
And,
social media,
Not quite
John has
yet.
money. It's cool.
No. I try to stay off social media as much as possible, but
Yeah.
I only go to Ben's page and Canvas Cutter and Gritties. So
Bam. And which
Notice
doesn't
the-
keep you very occupied because I do a post once a week or a month.
Yeah,
Usually when I put something up, it does piss people off.
that's good.
It has a tendency.
Well, people are pretty.
I'm glad you're
sensitive,
reading
so.
my comments. Though.
Yeah. Hey, I'm ready to go the rounds. I'm okay with disagreement.
You'd be a good freedom fighter.
I'd
He kind of looks like an old Israeli, like one of the wise ones that they get.
Yeah.
The one that brought frankincense.
Yeah, they're like, let us smoke this frankincense and speak peace.
We're skirting the line of what's politically correct here.
Yeah,
that's
true.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
not
beyond
sure.
it.
We can always go after the Irish or the Scottish. They're free
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, of
So we can
course,
go after
naturally.
Ben. We got to
I'm
stay.
Italian, man.
He says
ya?
he's
That's
Italian,
right.
but nobody believes it.
I know.
I got
Del
some Irish in
Monte.
there, though.
There's got to be.
I
There
look
was
like
some
somebody who lived
crossover.
through the potato famine. That's for sure.
Right.
It's good to see you survive, though.
Yeah,
Your lineage.
one of the lucky ones.
One of the lucky ones. So, and I think, Ben, you're always good for a laugh. So check out Shed Crazy if you don't follow him already.
Please follow me. My self-worth relies on it.
That's right. And we'll have you back soon.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
thanks.
Do it.
Thanks for coming on the show, folks.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
for
you.
tuning in.
Stay gritty.
Stay gritty.